The US President Donald Trump said on Thursday he would put a 200% wine tariff on all wines and other alcoholic products coming out of the European Union if the bloc did not remove its tariff on whisky. The European Commission said on Wednesday that it will impose counter tariffs on 26 billion euros worth of US goods from next month, ramping up the global trade war in response to blanket US tariffs on steel and aluminium. Our correspondent Tom Bateman is travelling with the US delegation to the G7 foreign ministers meeting and has the latest on the trade war developments.
Yeah, I mean, maybe ironically, the first session of the day is about strengthening the G7, this club of powerful nations of North America and Europe and Japan, and yet they come into this particular meeting with, as you say, Donald Trump just having labelled the European Union, which nearly half the members of the G7 are members of, as hostile and abusive in terms of its economic practices, and, as you say, threatening a 200% tariff on alcohol coming into the United States. So that might create a flurry of activity in the discussions around the table. We're not going to be party to that because they're all closed to the media, but we had the German and Italian foreign ministers come past us here a bit earlier. That was before Donald Trump had put out that social media post, so no response to that, but I can imagine it will be perhaps part of the discussion.
The Canadian foreign minister says she's going to bring up tariffs in every meeting that they have today and tomorrow morning. So what is Marco Rubio's response to that likely to be?
Well, he's going to have to hold the line, although, you know, as Donald Trump's chief diplomat, I think he's here to try and sort of smooth off the corners of this extremely bumpy relationship now. When we travelled with him on the way here, he was asked about tariffs, he was asked about Mr. Trump's labelling of Canada as the 51st state. He added a caveat to that. He said, well, it's the 51st state economically, of course, which I think gives you a sense of the sort of diplomacy he's trying to put around this. But clearly, there is a significant amount of tension between the hosts of this meeting and the Americans here. I think Mr. Rubio's instincts are going to be to try and sort of de-escalate when it comes to that, but it's obviously very hard to do when, you know, the boss is putting out messages that would be seen as even greater escalations, and we've certainly seen a lot of back and forth when it comes to tariffs, some threats that Donald Trump has then not put in place, but as you say, you know, significant tariffs on cross-border trade between these two absolutely integral trading partners.
Tom Bateman there in Quebec. Well, in the last few minutes, the US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has been speaking to reporters about these tariffs. He said Donald Trump's initiative is aimed at protecting strategic industries and jobs in the United States. He had more to talk about, incidentally, on the possible government shutdown that he says is weighing on economic sentiment right now. Senate Democrats not yet decided on whether to support the continuing resolution from the House of Representatives. So that's certainly one to watch as we get closer to the end of the week. But what about that threat of further tariffs from Donald Trump this morning? Adam Hirsch is the senior economist for the Economic Policy Institute in Washington.
Tariffs can be and have been effective policy tools for industrial development when they're done in a targeted manner and strategically. But this is not what Donald Trump is doing. Look, nothing that's happening in Washington right now is normal. If what's happening here was happening anywhere else in the world, we'd call it a coup. The president is busy tearing down any and every institution that stands in the way of his consolidating power. And these on again, off again tariff threats are part of that, sowing this economic chaos.
Yeah, as you suggest, it is a daily whipsaw of announcements, tariffs put on, tariffs taken off. Let me read you what he's just said in his social media post. The European Union is one of the most hostile and abusive taxing and tariffing authorities in the world. It was formed for the sole purpose of taking advantage of the United States. They just put a nasty 50% tariff on whiskey. We will put a 100% tariff on all wines, champagne and alcoholic products coming out of France. It'll be great for the champagne business in the United States. Does he have a point that the EU puts too much tariff on US exports?
No, I don't think so. And certainly there are some, trade issues that the United States has with the European Union, but nothing that really raises to this level. What the president is doing is he's sowing uncertainty in the global economy because he wants business leaders and national leaders to come groveling at his feet. But uncertainty is not what business leaders need to be have for a robust economy. That they need predictability in order to make decisions about investment, in order to make decisions about hiring workers. Donald Trump wants to take that away and be at the center of that. Inflation numbers we got yesterday are backwards looking, but looking forwards, inflation expectations are rising while consumer confidence and business confidence is falling. Donald Trump is playing to the wrong political constituency. He's playing to his MAGA ideological base when he should be addressing the people who really put him in the White House, working class voters who are concerned about the economy, who are concerned about inflation. So far, he's not given them anything to suggest that he's addressing their needs.
Adam Hirsch speaking to me just a short time ago. Market's pretty flat at the moment in reaction to those latest statements from Donald Trump.